what we're doing here, the impact that we're having on people's lives, it really boils down to not what's happening today. We all know we're supposed to have a savings account. We all know that. We're supposed to save for that rainy day. And some of us do, some of us don't. I hope you're in that 5% of America that is saving, because 95% of this country does not have a savings account. So wow, what a market you got to talk to people, because we really need to encourage them, not just to save, because we're going to show you some figures tonight. What would happen if you say, you know, all of y'all know this, what if you put $500 a year ago, just 1 year ago, into a savings account there at your local bank, and $500 and go? Which one would you rather have today, 1 year later? No. It's a no-brainer. So what we're doing is really making an impact on a lot of people's lives. There's one gentleman I want to stand up tonight. He's had a birthday recently. He was one of the first men that I met in this group when I didn't know anything about gold. He will never know the impact that he's had on my life by explaining a lot of things to me and opening up a lot of windows, and he is the reason my passion and that gold fever really started brewing in me. Mr. Les Caffey, would you please stand up and happy birthday? Anyway, we've got a lot of exciting things to go over tonight. I don't want to waste a lot of time up here with y'all listening to me. The next gentleman I want to introduce is a good friend of mine for the last couple of years. Most of y'all have seen us on our Sunday night show. It's the rant. It's the weekly rant. It's non-scripted. It's laid back. We never know when this gentleman, he's got one of the best financial minds you'll ever meet. But it's that polar opposite, I think, that we have. But we have on an average of 1,200 to 1,500 people coming to that call each week. Our top night was 3,200 and something. People love to hear this next gentleman speak. Andy Morbitzer comes from Ohio, and I'd like to have him come up here tonight and show you just a little bit about why we're here.
All right. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Andy Morbitzer. I don't know where the name came from. I've got an IQ with mathematics. Every once in a while, I'll hear the name Rain Man. I see mathematics, and I just, for some reason, see it in my mind. A little bit of my history. I've owned my own brokerage, my own real estate company. I was the #1 salesman for consecutive quarters at the largest mutual insurance companies in the world. Been on Wall Street. I've been on both sides of money, the good side and the bad side. And I walked away from a 7-figure income. Why did I do that? Because inherently, I knew what I was selling to people. I was motivated by greed. It wasn't in the best interest of the masses and myself and my family. So I've been doing that my entire adult life, with the exception is I flipped hamburgers at Wendy's 1 year. And, but even then, I put half my earnings into Wendy's stock that I still have today. So I've been on both sides of funding. And we'll move this along a little bit. Oops, there's Cheryl again. And before I get started, let me give a shout out to Cheryl Ann Gober that keeps us all cohesive, keeps us all moving as one, from management to the leadership of KB Gold. And it just wouldn't be proper if I didn't say thank you to Joe Norman, who introduced this business to me, my sponsor, who got me involved with KB Gold. Before we can appreciate what we have with KB Gold, we need to understand what the problem is. And we all think we understand what the problem is, but let me put it in layman's terms for you. This is the 21st century, and we are interconnected globally. The United States was, for many and many decades, responsible for the monetary system and really the financial system worldwide. As the dollar goes globally, so do all monetary and financial systems. And the dollar's hurting. inflation is nothing more than a fancy word for tax. It's manipulation. Front end, back end. As little as 3 years ago, September 2008, Wall Street took a hit of $10.8 trillion. And I see some baby boomers out there, they lost 46.3% of their savings. You lived a prudent life, you did all the right things, you saved monthly, you did dollar cost averaging in whatever asset class that was, and boom, in 3 weeks you lost half of your net worth. We're experiencing in this period in time in history some of the most volatile, greedy opposition that we'll ever face. Can we fight the Federal Reserve? Can we fight the governments and the elite and the powers that control the monetary system that control us, the masses? No. Too big, too powerful. But what we can do is introduce an alternative or a mentality or an inherently different way of thinking that we give you, the people, an option as to how we can move forward. So we've got a lot of things that are happening, and when we talk about the dollar losing 40% of its purchasing power, what is KB? All that we're doing is taking declining fiat currency and we're converting it into gold, and we get paid a commission to share that with other people. Why is that so important? As the baby boomers know, the most important thing that I think of is generational wealth. When I think of KB Gold, I look at gold as an asset class. It is the only asset class that has never gone bankrupt in history. Why is that important? Let's start with currencies. Every fiat currency in history has gone bankrupt, period. So is the dollar, or is gold going up in value, or is it the value of the dollar going down? And why is the value of the dollar going down? Greed. Greed. It's not backed. We've got an open checking account to do whatever we would like to do. So the first time in history, we all know what GDP stands for, yes? Gross domestic product. Our debt exceeds our gross domestic product. Meaning if I taxed all of your incomes 100%, we couldn't pay back what we owe. Not to mention, well, using their mathematics, what they have disclosed to us, for another $170 trillion in unfunded liabilities. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, list goes on and on and on. So to put that in layman's term in perspective, if we had to pay that back, that would be $1,000 per second for over 2,000 years. It's unsustainable debt. We will not be able to pay that money back. One of the solutions is going to be presented today by Harold Seitz. Double-digit inflation. We all know what inflation is. It's a fancy word for tax. Nothing more, nothing less. As you understand global macroeconomics, inflation is nothing more than tax. Record gold prices. There's some geopolitical influences that do play a part in record gold prices. It's just not the dollar, but that is the main thing that moves gold prices. Equity markets down. QE3, let's talk about QE1, QE2. We've got a working model of what does not work. And before I go any further, in that economy, and that is Japan, before I go further, we have a gentleman that came in from Japan to come to this meeting by the name of Gabriel Rodriguez. Gabriel, if you would. He's in our Navy. He's stationed in Japan, so thank you for coming out. Gabriel can attest as to what not to do in an economy. To throw money at a problem doesn't solve the problem, it exacerbates it. It just prolongs the problem. What does that mean in layman's terms? That means your kids, my kids, your grandkids, my grandkids are going to be in debt. How do you accumulate wealth? You do it through generational wealth. And one asset class that outperforms all others, that's guaranteed to have never lost its value in history, and that is gold. So what we're going to present tonight is KB, KaratBars International. And I'm so used to KB Vision. KaratBars International is going to be the distribution arm, the marketing tool in which we secure our futures. And it's very simple. We take declining fiat currencies and convert that into a commodity that's increasing in purchasing power. So we're going to have an online savings account, we're going to introduce an alternative currency, and we're going to get paid a commission to do so. All the while protecting ourselves, our kids, and our futures. And I guess my 10 minutes is up, eh? Is that why you're up here hanging around? But last thing I will finish it up with. Money, USA Today. Pension insurer reports major deficit. The federal agency that insures pensions, without my glasses, $26 billion in balance. So the people who are insuring your pensions, all your savings, are in a deficit. Understand the infrastructure in which we base all monetary and financial decisions that feeds the great Ponzi scheme we call the Federal Reserve is breaking. The shell and the eggs are breaking all around, and you're seeing spots of it all around. And before long, we're going to make some omelets, because the eggs are going to break. So with that said, good night. Thanks again.
I came up here.